everyone, and welcome back to the Byte-Sized Brief, the podcast all about tech news. Today we have quite a bit to go over. We have the Samsung Galaxy Unpacked for July 2026. We got the new foldable phones. We also have some more EU news with a lot of their regulations, some updates on the physical disc situation for PlayStation, and of course, a bunch of AI news that's mostly depressing like normal. All of that in today's episode, but first we're going to talk about Samsung Galaxy Unpacked for July 2026. So we got the new Fold 8, Fold 8 Ultra, and then the Flip 8 for the foldables. The Fold 8 is the new highly rumored wide variant, and the Ultra, as they like to call it, which I don't like how they call it that, is basically a slightly better version of the Fold 7. They just had to call it something different. The Flip 8 literally is the same phone with a new chip. And then we also got some watches, but I think the main focus that everyone's talking about is the new wide Fold 8. And the whole point of it is better aspect ratio, so it's 4:3. What do you think of the new design of this?
The new design of it is actually a lot more logical than the previous design, in my opinion. The previous design was a really thin, kind of like a thin phone at first when it's folded together, then you unfold it, and it's a weird shape. It's not a normal shape. I mean, yeah, you could have two apps side by side, but they're really tall apps, and then if you turn to the side, it's actually not that big compared to a normal phone screen when you turn to the side, so the video doesn't take up the whole screen. The new size is just significantly better because it is a smaller phone overall. It's easier to put in your pocket. It's wider, so you can almost reach the whole entire screen, the front screen, with one hand. And when you hold it on the side, it's a more phone-esque shape. It's a 4:3 instead of like a whatever it was before. It's kind of like a square. Now it's more like a rectangle, so it actually fits content better. It's a better size. Honestly, I think almost everything about it is better. But I do hesitate a little bit because it's kind of stubby. Like, I don't know if your pockets, you have to have wide enough pockets for it, but other than that, it's pretty decent. I mean, it even has a 4,900 milliamp hour battery because they switched to silicon carbon batteries for these phones, which is actually really surprising. They're like, they're not going to do it. They did do it. They put silicon carbon in their batteries, which is actually kind of impressive. I mean, it's not 6,000, 8,000 milliamp hours like it can be. They're being very conservative with it this time because, Samsung batteries have not that best reputation. They have the best reputation. Anyway, ignoring that. But I would say that phone is a good shape. It's just much better. But the more interesting thing is actually their Watch 3 Ultra. A lot of people don't talk about that one, but I believe it's the third one. The second one was just a different colorway, wasn't it? I believe it's technically the third one.
No, that was actually the Apple Watch Ultra. The second one was just a different color, I think.
Let me double check that.
Because in my notes I have
the new watch has a significantly faster chip. Like, not a little bit faster, like so much faster. We previously used an Exynos chip. Yet again, it's Exynos chip, not the best chip. But they switched to a Snapdragon chip that's nearly like 75% faster in everything. It's just better. It's just a better watch in every single way. It has a significantly better battery. Instead of like 590 milliamp hours, is like 900 milliamp hours, I do believe.
They just said it was 35% bigger.
The battery was significantly improved. Yeah, 800 milliamp hours from 590 to 800. 590 to 800, that's a big jump in battery life. It's also faster wireless charging. The chip is significantly faster. The screen goes up to, I believe it's, how bright was the screen again?
5,000 nits.
5,000 nits?
Yeah.
Yeah, which is like brighter than any recorded any recorded screen brightness there was before. Overall, I think it's a pretty good watch and everything with that, but overall the phones aren't that interesting. Even the flip phone is not that interesting. It is a pretty boring phone. They even stuck to the old Exynos chipset for that phone. It's boring. Yeah. I mean, it's a flip phone, but it's still boring. They could have done something more to it, but they didn't.
I have a feeling it's probably not going to stick around much longer.
It's rumored to be canceled after this one. Like, they're just going to go only to the hamburger or hot dog style ones, and they're not even going to do the flipping ones anymore.
Yeah. So I, I mean, on paper, like the big thing new about the Z Fold 8 is just the ratio because other than that, on paper, it's technically worse than the Ultra, which I wish they didn't call it Ultra because when I hear Ultra, I tend to compare it to the S26 Ultra, and it falls behind in a lot of ways. And there wasn't like this huge new upgrade. They just did that for this new wide. I wish they just called the wide something different, but overall, my thoughts on the wide, I also really like the new aspect ratio. This is what the iPhone Fold is rumored to be, and they also apparently they made like the crease a lot better with
Yeah.
their titanium display or something. I don't know how that works.
Titanium reinforced backplate.
Yeah, but I mean, it does on paper. It's a good phone, but you are missing out on some of the camera stuff from the more expensive folding phone. But overall, the camera system's still really good. It's like basically like an iPhone 17 camera system on the back, at least. And one thing they were talking about a lot at the event is how they learned that there needs to be multiple different form factors to suit your life. And like, if we're talking about the best fold factor, and I honestly think out of all these form factors, the trifold is the best. They
Mm.
had the trifold, and I really hope that they bring that back, like maybe next year. Because honestly, I think at the end of the day, that is the ultimate um aspect ratio for it because it's the size of a normal phone. It's not stubby like the wide one. And then when you open it up, you got this big, like 10-inch tablet.
Yeah, and it's a
But
16:9 ratio, so it's a perfect size for videos.
yeah, it's just, I guess the technology wasn't there. Because to be fair, there were definitely some compromises. And I'd say the first gen trifold was kind of more of a concept phone in a way. I mean, it wasn't. They did actually sell it, but yeah, but I do really hope they bring that back though, because that I think that's the ultimate standard. But as far as the phones we saw today, honestly, the only thing that was interesting to me was the wide phone and like the Watch Ultra. Other
Mm.
than that, nothing was really interesting. They also came out with their stable version, or they're adopting stable versions of Bitcoin, which I thought was funny.
Oh yeah,
Um,
they announced like new integrations with crypto wallets for Samsung Wallet, which they announced stablecoin is one of the first to be adopted inside Samsung Wallet, which is, I mean, I guess it makes more sense to having like a third-party crypto wallet on your device. You can have it built into Samsung Wallet, but at the same time, like, I don't want to get tangled into cryptocurrency. I obviously don't have to use it. Some people might
no,
use it, but I highly doubt many people at all will use the crypto wallet feature.
yeah,
And, it's just kind of like they added it because they can, but not really too useful.
yeah. I don't get that, but overall, I was honestly kind of impressed though by the wide fold, I guess, to what I was expecting. But other than that, nothing was too much interesting with the folding phones, which was kind of unfortunate. I kind of wish we did see more, especially like on the flip. Like, I felt like they could do more, but like we said, they're probably going to discontinue it next year, unfortunately. But I don't really see the benefit of that form factor beyond it just being really small in your pocket. Like, if you're going to get a folding phone, get one that can actually have more benefits per se.
Mm.
So, yeah, that is Samsung Galaxy Unpacked July 2026. Overall, I was actually kind of impressed by a good bit of the stuff they showed off. Something very interesting is that Apple is suing OpenAI, which honestly is kind of interesting because I believe OpenAI actually tried to sue Apple
Yeah.
because their AI wasn't implemented enough. But basically, Apple is accusing OpenAI of stealing trade secrets by trying to well, I'm not exactly sure, but I think what they did is they poached the employees, and then they somehow were able to get the employees to continue getting information after they were hired on Apple. Apparently, they brought back hardware with them somehow. Apparently, they gave OpenAI designs for unannounced products and trade secrets. So they're suing OpenAI, and the article we'll have linked below will go in more in depth of what that all entails. But this was kind of out of the left wing for me. But then again, it is OpenAI. Like, they've kind of had a history of being sketchy. Of course, that's more of Elon. You know, he's Grok is the sketchiest one, but this, I honestly wasn't surprised about this, and it's kind of weird having they're working with Johnny Ive, which is just like, why? Why? I don't know. Maybe they're gonna make a product that looks like an Apple product. I don't know. But yeah, this is definitely very interesting.
Yeah, it's just I wasn't expecting Apple to do this at all. It was just like, hey, you're stealing stuff from us, so we're going to sue you, which makes sense. Obviously, you don't want people stealing your content credentials, and it's ChatGPT. They've stolen like practically everything they have right now. I don't know one thing that OpenAI has kind of not taken at this point, because everything that they have is kind of stolen. Every single bit of data they've taken is stolen, and now they're stealing stuff from Apple, which makes sense. I wouldn't expect anything less from ChatGPT at this point. But apparently also Apple is being sued for using YouTube to train a video model. I didn't even know Apple was making a video model, to be honest.
Exactly.
Just like, apparently they're scraping YouTube and violate DMCA terms and whatnot and using to train AI video models. Apple responded saying that the videos were publicly available on YouTube and the companies were permitted to access them under the DMCA and YouTube's term of service. No, that's not how that. You can't. No, even if it's publicly available, doesn't mean you can just take it to train an AI model.
Apparently, they didn't necessarily themselves scrape YouTube, but they used some sort of document that contained scraped YouTube video. I'm not 100% sure on it, but either way, they did train some sort of video model on it. But Apple doesn't have a video model. Which is, I'm like, please don't tell me they're developing one, because I hate AI video models. I already hate Image Playground enough. I really hope they're not developing one. The only thing I can think about is some of the features in Final Cut Pro that they may have been doing that for. But that's not video generation, because Final Cut Pro doesn't have any sort of video generation tools, at least yet. So, but yeah, it's definitely interesting, because this is not something I would have expected Apple to do. And according to these YouTubers, it's somehow affected them. And apparently the channels that sue them also are suing Meta, Nvidia, ByteDance, and Snap. Which, yeah, obviously those companies are known for that. But I don't know. I mean, it is publicly available, but on the other hand, it's still not theirs to do that, I guess. So, but very interesting.
Yeah, but let's jump into some Meta news now. Meta recalled its image generation tool. Finally, it's about time. No one liked it. Anyway, yeah, no one used it, so they discontinued it, sort of. It allowed people to make images
AI
using public
personas of public creators without your permission.
Yeah, just the most absolute random features. Like, you can make an AI persona based on someone that you may or may not know, and they have no idea about it. So they can make me into an AI creature and like make me something that I'm not without my permission. They recalled it, thankfully. I'm glad. Apparently they're like, hey, no one liked it. Maybe we shouldn't do it. And to that I say, no duh. No one liked it, don't do it. Anyway, but that's pretty much Meta's whole entire gig, is like they do a bunch of stuff that no one likes, and then if they get in trouble, then they stop. But otherwise, they're fine until they get in trouble. And also, they are testing new product that can record 24/7. It's called Super Sensing AI Glasses. It's going to continuously take videos and photos and audio. Well, not videos, audio and photos every few seconds. And then it will feed it into
Tell you what
feed it
you
into
did.
an AI system so you can ask about it later.
Ask it about your day. It's so stupid. I mean, you have this in the whole drama because people have been destroying the lights in the glasses so they can record secretly. And in this drama, they're possibly developing glasses that are taking pictures every few seconds and recording audio and they're probably training their AI on this too. So it's kind of
Oh
like,
yeah, absolutely.
this is stupid.
Yeah. But in good news, Meta is rumored to be banning people from using their AI glasses altogether. Well, altogether as in they can no longer take photos, videos on any pair of Meta glasses they buy on from now on if the light on the device had been tampered with at any point in time, which is actually hats off to them. They were getting in trouble for they were called the creeper glasses or whatnot. They're actually making a move to get this banned, which is really good. I'm surprised. I'm thinking that there's something else behind it, maybe, because it doesn't seem like Meta to do a good thing. But who knows? Anyway, they're also being sued. Oh, sorry.
I was just saying, yeah, agreement.
Yeah, but anyway, Meta is being sued as well, not for being creepy or whatnot, which they should be.
Well,
But anyway,
actually, they were kind of being creepy by spying on their employees typing to see how slow they were typing to fire people, which is what this is about.
yeah, this is what this is about. They had an AI system that was announced a couple months ago. I think we discussed this on a podcast previously. It monitors every single thing they do on their work computer, and if they're not going fast enough, if they're not doing enough work, guess what? They're up for hire to be up to be fired. And apparently 26 Meta employees all came together you can't do that. Because guess what? What if we were sick? What if we had a bad internet connection? What if we didn't have much work to do? And you just fired us.
And apparently these people actually were fired, too, which wasn't good. But the lawsuit alleges that they used that to find their weaknesses so that way when they're making all of their layoffs, they can get rid of the people who are the worst. Which I feel like that has to go against some sort of law out there. Because you have laws that you can't not hire one by their race or disability or something. I feel like that has to go against some type of law like that.
Yeah, absolutely. If they type slowly, let's say they do have a disability, that's why they type slowly. That is quite literally illegal. You can't do that. Which, it's good. Meta's getting sued for it, but it's about time. Meta's done so many things at this point. I'm not surprised if they just fire everyone because they looked at them funny at this point. They just love firing people. Thing is, when they fire people, it's who fills in those spots? AI, or are they just filling in with new people? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm glad they're being sued. Of course, unfortunately, I have a feeling it probably won't do much to Meta because 26 employees against Meta.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But yeah, so there's been some sketchy some problems with Windows on the Steam machine. So well, no, never. Sorry about that. I misread that. There is now official Windows drivers on the Steam machine. So basically, Valve has them. You can download them. They are as is. So it seems like Valve isn't really going to be updating them, and which I get it because I don't think Valve cares about that. That's not really what the Steam. It's meant to be a PC, but if you're gonna use it, just use Linux on it. Honestly, because it's better than Windows. Honestly, that's what I would do. Of course, it's not the best gaming machine. But also, other than that, apparently there was a overheating bug, which the patch might already be out now, but basically the software was triggering a overheating warning that would the red light would come on and you wouldn't do it because there was something off with how hot it had to get for it to be overheating. And I think it has I think it was like getting up to like 80 degrees Celsius when it should be 100. So apparently they're fixing that, which is
Mm-hmm.
good. So yeah, it's kind of been a bit of a bumpy start to the steam machine, but that's not just because of this. That's just because it's not the most powerful, and the price to performance ratio is just not good, unfortunately.
Yeah. The bug was basically where the system thought the CPU, the part of the device was at like 100 degrees Celsius when it was actually at 80 degrees Celsius, which the warning turns on at 80 degrees Celsius, which it was supposed to turn on at 100 degrees Celsius, because 100 degrees Celsius is like the thermal throttle limit for most all electronic devices. And apparently the 80 degrees Celsius accidentally triggered the overheating system, which 80 degrees Celsius for a computer is completely normal. Even though it sounds very hot, it's completely normal for a computer to do that. Even your phone in your pocket probably is about 110 degrees in Fahrenheit
especially if you have an iPhone 15 Pro that overheats.
right now. Yeah, especially when it's running iOS 26. Anyway.
I'm not running that anymore.
Yeah, and then the Windows drivers, they're basically like, hey, guess what? We're not going to lock you into SteamOS. You can use Windows if you want. Here's the drivers. And hey, if they don't work, they don't work. We're not going to do anything about it. We made it work as well as it's going to work. We're not really going to do anything else to it. Which, hats off to them to be like completely upfront, like, hey, you can run Windows if you want to. We don't want you to, but you can if you want to. That's pretty good, honestly.
Yeah. And the EU is back at it again. We all know and love the EU. I'm being sarcastic by that because, you know, they're back at it. So apparently the EU is trying to make a law that will force a car to alert you visibly and audibly if you're not paying attention. So, a new EU safety regulations for cars in advance effective July 7th include advanced emergency braking and driver distraction warnings and improved tire testing, apparently. So, basically, the measures try to reduce fatalities and everything, which is good, but that means that your car is going to have to be watching you, which takes computing power to identify it, and also privacy risks. And I also believe that a researcher said that at least most cars, don't have a good way to do that now. And I also think that was related to like another EU law where they were trying to make cars tell if you were drunk or not. And these researchers are like, we've developed this, but it doesn't even work half the time. It only works like 30% of the time or it misdetected you as being drunk. That's honestly the problem. Of course, like Tesla has it where I think you have to like look at the road or something during autopilot, but I mean, on paper it's a good thing. This isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it is another enforcing law on tech companies.
Yeah, overall, it's a great idea to have this law in place, but it doesn't work because even if you have a camera all around you in your car, it cannot identify really what you're doing. Because you could look off to the side like, get your eyes back on the road, even though you're looking because you're about to make a turn to your left. It doesn't know you're about to make a turn even before you signal. And when you signal, maybe it will know, but it doesn't know. And for detecting if you're tired, what happens if you have naturally smaller eye openings? Like if your eyes are a little bit more squinty than other people's eyes, does it think you're tired and it's going to like give you a warning like, you better not be tired and drive? Or it's a great idea, but the technology to identify every single possible variable that is out there is impossible. It's impossible to understand every single circumstance and control your car based on that. I understand having emergency braking systems. That makes sense. If you're about to hit something, it can brake for you. That makes sense. But you can't drive because you're too tired. How is it supposed to know how tired I am? And if I get off a long day at work, can I just not drive home? Can I not drive home? After work? Do I have to stay in the parking lot? What am I supposed to do? Call an Uber? It's just
1 hour mandatory nap in the parking lot.
Exactly. If your car tells you when you can and cannot drive, that's absolutely insane and should not be a thing. And, okay, it looks like EU also had a vote to stop looking at people's messages.
And it didn't work.
Didn't work. Okay,
So,
what was this about?
Basically, from there is a law in the EU that allows tech companies to voluntarily scan all their users' private messages for inappropriate material, kind of like how Apple does with like blurring sensitive images and stuff like that. Of course, I believe that happens on device. It is so inaccurate, at least from what I know, because like if you take a picture of someone's face, it will think it's inappropriate. But basically, not just for that, but for like even just talking. And apparently, they were having a bill to stop this, but it almost went through. But the problem is, since a few people were not in the hearing, it had to be unanimous, so it didn't go through. And yeah, people are upset because it undermines digital privacy. I mean, you have it's tech companies just scanning your messages. Now, this is for unencrypted messages, so like encrypted RCS and stuff should be fine, but still.
Yeah, this would be like every image on the internet practically, or any image from person to person that's not end-to-end encrypted. But the thing is, they're going to then pass a law to make sure that images aren't encrypted so that this can work for encrypted images. Because last I checked, if you're sending illegal images or like not good images, you're going to be using encrypted messaging in the first place, so this is not going to do anything. And for the ones that aren't encrypted, that means either one, your phone provider, aka Apple, Samsung, Google, will read or look at every message. 2, your cell provider will look at every single photo you have that you send. Or 3, the EU themselves or the cabinet that they elect will look at every single image there is. Well, their automated system, of course, but still, the automated system is going to have a copy of the photo. And you know, when they have a copy of something, it's going to get out of the hands and it's going to get leaked, or it's going to get stolen, or it's going to be cybercrime, whatnot, like your social security number if you had T-Mobile a couple months ago, or pretty much everything. It's going to get stolen at some point somehow. Yeah. So you can't trust anyone with your data, especially important data. Even like cloud providers, it's dangerous to have it in the cloud. I mean, yeah, it's encrypted, whatnot, but still, I don't trust it completely. Someone can log into your account or whatnot.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a good thing. But like, what are they gonna do with it? Like, are they gonna ban you or? I mean, it's just.
The point is for it to like call the police on them. But the thing is, that means they would also have to have your location data. So each image would also have a copy of your location data. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get it, but overall, I'm not the biggest fan of it. And something else I am not the biggest fan of is the EU is trying to force Google to let third-party AIs run on Android and open up the user's data. This is extremely similar to what they're trying to do with Apple, because like the new Siri that will be in iOS 27 will not be coming to the EU because the EU wants third parties to have access to all of the personal index that it uses.
Mm-hmm.
And we already gone over this, but I don't want that. All these different companies having all this access to it. And same thing like on Android too. Overall, I'm still pretty much against this. I think it's...
Yeah, but this thing is just, the EU wants to force other AI companies to have the same level of access to your device that your manufacturer and Google has to your device. So even on Android right now, the Google Gemini thing cannot access your personal messages. That's one thing it cannot do yet. It might be able to do in the future, but cannot do right now. But the thing is, they want every single piece of your device to be able to be accessible by any AI system that you install.
No.
I mean, for me, I just wouldn't install those AI systems. But at the same time, What happens if there's a really cool feature and it has access to all my devices, or my friend doesn't know anything about it and they installed this AI feature that scans through every single message they have, scans through every photo they have, every video they have, every note they've taken, every audio recording, every single phone call, and on from there. It's not a good idea to give any single company complete control over your personal data, because if they give means no one's going to understand how this works. I give you my guarantee. If someone installs an app's like, give us permission to be your default AI assistant, they don't know they're handing over every single piece of valuable information on your whole entire device. Even if it gives you a warning saying that, hey, it can access this data, no one's going to understand what that means. And we don't need it. I mean, sure, it's good to have like competition, but we don't need it.
Well, this is the EU, how they want, it's, antitrust and anti-competition, their whole laws on this. Again, it's just forcing companies to do things. The companies can't decide for themselves over in the EU. We've gone over this so much, like with USB-C and stuff like that. And also the Gemini assistant and everything is kind of like a selling point of Android, so it kind of makes it less competitive in a way for Google, like as far as Google's end. So, yeah. I just leave it as it is. This is not something.
Another thing that the EU kind of indirectly forced was third-party app stores on Android. But what do they mean? So actually, I finally figured this out. I didn't know what this meant for a long time. Guess what? If you open up Google Play, the Google App Store, and you go to your little profile icon, there is a new button that says third-party app stores. If you click on it, it gives you third-party app stores right in the Google Play Store app. Okay, but why? You could
That's just what I want to know. Hasn't Android had this for ever? A lot of whenever people make fun of Apple, they're always like, you have to use the Apple App Store, and I'm like, wait, hasn't Android had this forever? So I was very confused.
The only difference is that this App Store, you can download app stores
in the App Store
from the Google Play Store, which is backwards. The point of having a third-party app store is so that you don't have to use the Google Play Store. But this is making you use the Google Play Store to download something to not use the Google Play Store. It's just we already had this 20 years ago. You're just adding an extra step.
The EU just doesn't actually know how technology works, but they think they know how it works. And they're just imposing laws that just don't make sense because they think that, but they don't. That's just what it seems like here.
Yeah, because I opened up my Google Play Store. I'm like, third-party app stores. I clicked on them. I'm like, these are just app stores that have existed the whole entire time. But now you have to get them from Google Play. This is actually a bad precedent because this means that you might not be able to install other third-party app stores that aren't on Google Play, which defeats the whole entire purpose of a third-party app store. But with all that aside, good-ish. Nothing's really different except for you added an extra step. It could go bad as well. It could be bad, but right now it's not bad. So, okay, I guess.
Yeah, so that's definitely interesting. And apparently PlayStation is getting sued over ending physical disc production. We talked about this last time, I believe. How they're ending it, but yeah, apparently they are getting sued because a lot of people are mad. And the reason why they're getting sued is mainly because of a monopoly that they'll have full control over pricing because it will all be on the PS store. Which honestly I'm happy because I was not happy about this. And in the last episode we did discuss how there are already industries, but we already have seen the bad come out of it. There was a huge PSN outage the other day. And people were not able to play their digital games that were downloaded on their system. And same with Xbox because of these licensing contractors that couldn't get access to. So that's the thing, you think, okay, well, yes, it's digital, but it's on my console, you know? Well, don't think too fast about that because at least on PlayStation and on Xbox, you have to have these different licenses, but you don't actually own it. It's just a license to use it. There's basically an expiration date on it. Beyond the fact that on PlayStation now, you have to be connected to the internet once every 30 days for that
Mm,
license to work. And apparently, um, some live service games wouldn't work, period, which is crazy.
yeah, and
So,
especially because
yeah.
this is just going to make Sony a monopoly of literally everything. We discussed this last time. But someone did a great example. There was this not very popular game that came out. And thing is, it wasn't popular. It really wasn't popular. It's being sold at retailers for $5. But on the PlayStation Store, it's $60. Because guess what? A bunch of people have a bunch of stock in their store and they're not selling any, so they have to get rid of it all. So it's $5. You can get the game for $5 instead of $60 at the PlayStation Store. Because PlayStation Store can set whatever price they want. They don't care. They get as much money as they want. And this also, like hypothetically, if I'm a game developer and I'm trying to make a game, Sony's going to take 30% of that game online. If I just put out a physical disc, I don't really have to pay as much commission. I know you have used some commission, use the PlayStation logo on your game or whatnot, but still, if I have a game, I'm trying to sell it for $15. PlayStation's going to take 30% of that. So that's what, $5? About, maybe? So that's going to be $20 instead. So if that's $20 instead, I can still sell the physical game for $15, but I'm going to do $20 so I don't want to make less money selling on PlayStation. And this is going to be complete control, and hence why they're being sued right now, because no one wants to be forced with that.
Yeah, and also another downside of this digital features, apparently 62% of countries lack access to the PlayStation Store.
Yeah.
Meaning the all-digital PS6, you won't be able to use it. What would even be the point of Sony selling it in these countries? Because, how are you going to get a game?
Yeah,
Another
because
downside.
Yeah, the PlayStation Store isn't available in 62% of countries because laws and regulations and internet access and all of that just makes it super complicated. You have to have a whole entire terms and conditions for each country that you have if you have a digital version of it. If it's a physical version, you just take the game, even if it's not made for your country, and you just use it. Unlike the PlayStation Store, you have to be in the same country, agree to the terms of services that they specifically made for your country, and 62% of countries don't have terms of services specifically made for Sony. This is practically just hey, guess what? You can't use the game anymore because there's going to be no physical version of the game. So there's going to be literally no way, unless if you go over the border, download the game, and then go back into your country and then play the game. But then wait, you have to check every 30 days. So that means every 30 days you have to go back into the country and then verify and then go back out. Guy, did they even think about this for more than 2 minutes before they made this rule?
No.
I don't.
Because all they're thinking about is those dollar signs above their head. That's all they're thinking about.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's do a quick flash round of AI topics. Anthropic's new Reflect feature is in beta that helps people understand and refine their use of Claude. It tracks visual usage patterns, offering insights in how often effectively AI is used. This feature also encourages users to consider the role of AI in their lives. So basically, teaching them how to use AI, basically making them use AI more. Okay, not interesting. I don't care about AI. Anyway,
apparently they're marketing it as using it less, but there's probably some sneaky tactics.
It's trying to show you how to use it effectively. That's going to make you use it more. They're just trying to make you use it more.
Step 1, use Claude. Have Claude run your computer in the background 10 hours a day so it can charge you for it.
Okay, and then also OpenAI released a ChatGPT branded basketball.
A physical
basketball with the ChatGPT logo on it.
This is the Johnny Ive collaboration. It's not, but a $70, probably a Dollar Tree quality basketball with a ChatGPT. The description was it describes humanity. It's the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life. Stupider than the iPhone sock. I'd rather pay $300 for a sock for my phone than this. That's probably a controversial take, but I would do that over getting
It's a
this.
$70 basketball with a logo that everyone hates.
Yes, why would you? No, and apparently it's sold out, which I think is a crime. They probably just put it sold out, like, to make you
maybe
think.
they only made 10 of them. Hopefully.
Hopefully. I really hate it.
Oh, and here's another AI news. It's the creator of Linux, aka Linus Torvalds, is not anti-AI, which, honestly, I understand what he means. So, he's not against AI code overall, but he is against the use of it in Linux, the Linux kernel itself, without human review. Thing is, AI can produce a lot of good code, but it's uncomprehensible sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't make sense. It's just a roundabout way of doing something extremely simple. So if you produce AI code, it's usually having a lot of variables that are complicated, usually has a lot of variables that are unnecessary, usually has a lot of things that is not efficient. So he's not against the use of it to help you code. But he's against of it copy and pasting what it has. If you copy and paste exactly what it tells you to do, it's inefficient. It's not. The whole entire point of Linux itself is to be efficient, super small kernel that's super efficient in what it does. That's why the kernel gets updates. Otherwise, we would be on kernel 1.1. But guess what? We found ways to make this better, make this faster, make this more efficient, make this safer, whatnot.
Yeah. Honestly, I kind of get what he's saying too, but I am kind of like, more AI doing. I don't like. Honestly, I haven't really thought about what I even think of vibe coding. I guess it's not as, I don't know. It's in a way, it's still technically kind of taking away creativity, but not, but kind of. It's not made by a human, but from coding can be hard to do. So, but I kind of get what he's saying.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not against him on that. I overall, I don't think AI code is awful, but I think it's just often misused lazily. Like, you can be really lazy and not look over what it just gave you, because it's probably gave you like, add 2 plus 2. Okay. You can take the square root of 4, then add that answer from square root of 4, and then you can multiply it by 4, and then subtract its dividend to equal 2. Think AI, that makes complete sense. To humans, like, just add 2 plus 2. That's kind of where we're getting at, where it can give you AI code, but it's not going to be very great and very efficient. And then, Copilot has new PC Insights, experimental feature in Windows Copilot app that allows people to ask how their Windows PC is doing. Basically like Task Manager, but the thing is, it uses like a gig of RAM to work. So it's like, hey, what's slowing down your computer? Me.
Basically, it's if you're too lazy to open the settings app yourself, you can ask AI your settings, which is stupid. I hate it so much. Like, just get rid of Copilot. No one uses Copilot anyway, so I don't know why they have this here at all.
No, it's not a feature that I doubt anyone's going to use that feature. But guess what? Good news. New York has banned hyperscale data centers for now, at least. They have paused all construction on new AI data centers for a year. I mean, that's not that long, but hey, something. And it's also mentioning that they might consider making more tax giveaways for data centers, which could influence other states to follow suit. And because AI data centers use so much water, so much power, so much heat,
but
it's just
basically they're saying from what I heard, they still want to be doing AI. They just want to evaluate it, which I guess is better than nothing, but it's not that big of a step in the right direction because it's only for a year. And it's only hyperscale data centers, so there still are data centers going in there, unfortunately.
And in other news, OnePlus is going to be leaving the US and Europe probably forever, but most likely forever. OnePlus is exiting the US and European market because they haven't getting enough traction there, and they're going to focus their operations in China and India, which is kind of nonsensical because that's where the competition's the most fierce. But anyway, existing users will continue to receive product support. They'll get updates and stuff, but the OnePlus community will shut down. OnePlus will stop selling their phones, and they'll replace Oxygen OS with ColorOS, which was pretty much the same thing already. And there will be an option to update for later this year.
So I think the main reason why they're doing this is because they merged with Oppo and a few other companies, and I think that is actually the main reason. I'm not quite sure. But this is honestly kind of sad because like OnePlus had some really good phones. Like now pretty much in the US you just got iPhone and Samsung and Google. That's basically it now.
Motorola.
No one cares about Motorola. Let's just pretend they don't exist.
Every single grandma does.
That is quite literally true. My grandfather literally has a Motorola phone, and it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, anyway, next topic is that Fairlife. They stopped production of their dairy products due to ransomware. In fact, where I work, we ran out of yogurt at the same time. Coincidence? I don't think so. I believe Fairlight's dairy was the same dairy our yogurt producer had. And we ran out of yogurt for a good week. And everyone was like, why do you mean you ran out of yogurt? I mean, we don't have any yogurt. They didn't tell us why. They just said they didn't have enough. And guess we got it back now. But it was hilarious. We didn't have any yogurt. Probably because we didn't have a dairy. Probably because Fairlife dairy unit, that's Coca-Cola owns Fairlife. They didn't have any yogurt to produce because their systems were down.
That's just kind of crazy because you never think of something like this being affected by this type of thing, but it definitely happens, which is pretty crazy. Moving on, honestly, kind of controversial update from Apple. There is a new program called Apple Upgrade, and it's where you can lease your Apple products. So you can lease an iPhone for 12 to 24 months, and then you can pay what is left of the full balance of the phone minus what you paid of the lease, or upgrade. And it's mainly meant to upgrade every year, but you can also do it on Mac and iPad, which doesn't make as much sense. I'm not the biggest fan of this, just because I'm not the biggest fan of leasing hardware, period, because it's not necessarily renting. But I kind of do see the advantage, because if you look at for 12 months, if you lease an iPhone 17 Pro, it's about half the price of it new, and then you can get the iPhone 18 Pro. So yeah, it's interesting, but also I feel like it's a step in kind of the bad direction.
I don't think it's a good idea, but overall, it's not a bad deal. Price-wise, it's not a bad deal, but it's not great. You should own your devices. You should own your games. You should own your car. You shouldn't have to lease everything.
I mean, at least you can pay the rest of it off if you want to keep it, but that's still not ideal.
I mean, okay, that's a good part. If you can pay the rest off and keep the device, okay, maybe if you're really tight on money, that makes sense. But also, in the fine print of this, I remember it saying something about if you don't pay your payments, you can't text, you can't call, and they'll remotely shut down your phone.
Well, it's technically not confirmed because they found code in the developer beta of iOS 27 that mentions something called restricted mode, which we're not 100% sure, but it's very likely that what it is.
I mean, but that also does make sense. If you're not paying for the device you're using, it does make sense they would block some features on it. So I'm not mad at that, but I'm very weary about how this could go.
Yeah, moving on, the FCC is at it again by essentially banning autonomous humanoid or robots, like robot vacuums, from foreign-made countries. And just like with the Wi-Fi routers, I mean, there's more AI robots made in the US, but a lot of companies just buy the hardware from China, gut out the software, put their own software in there, and literally every robot vacuum brand, even iRobot, they're bought out by a Chinese company. They're trash. Don't buy it, but they're bought out by a Chinese company. So overall, and yes, the argument cybersecurity, which kind of with the DJI drone brand, the argument kind of falls apart, but the main problem is the infrastructure that we don't have to get these products made in the US.
Well, actually, it was mostly just supposed to ban just foreign-made robots, like humanoid robots. It was like, it has to be these special qualifications, it has to have this size battery, or it has to, be over 4 pounds, or if this, that, if it's under 4 pounds. But the thing is, every single robot vacuum cleaner was over 4 pounds. So it unintentionally, banned robot vacuum cleaners as well, which I see why. But at the same time, it's like, okay, guys, you didn't really think your law out very well if you accidentally banned something that you didn't intend to ban. You intended to ban autonomous robots. You ended up banning vacuum cleaners. Well, robot vacuum cleaners, but still. It's like, think about the law a little bit before you push it out, especially because I don't feel like there's too much of a threat for robots. Last I checked, no one is going out buying humanoid robots. Also, last I checked, no one is Chinese robots aren't going to take over your house. Robot vacuums aren't going to take over your house.
Yeah.
But what will take over your house is Claude's system. If you just let it run wild in your house. Apparently, the Claude system was told it was in a secure environment, unable to access outside data. So what it did is it tried to access, it found a way to get around network bans. So it got through network bans, thinking that was a simulated environment, and it was being tested to see if it can get around the requirements, and that everything it was accessing was fake. Yeah, it just broke out and accessed everything on the internet. So
yeah, and ChatGPT broke into something called Hugging Face. I have no idea what that is.
Hugging Face is a community worth of AIs. You can go to Hugging Face right now. It's just a bunch of AI systems that you can run for free.
So it's like what that AI for social media we talked about a while ago, kind of.
Yeah, if you go to Hugging Face, it's just a bunch of systems that you can run.
Thanks. I don't want to go to that
actually,
website.
It runs on their server, so it doesn't even run on you. You can just access someone else's AI system, hundreds and thousands of AI systems.
So yeah, definitely interesting there. Although probably one of the most infuriating things is Windows ad pop-ups, and it's now been found that certain LG monitors are causing McAfee ads by installing the LG app, which then installs McAfee ads into Windows, which is crazy.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, think about the implications of this. I can plug in a monitor. I can plug in a display, and it can it can automatically install software.
I mean, imagine if you plug in your LG monitor and it installs ransomware.
No, hypothetically, you buy a USB drive from Walmart, you plug it in, and it installs malware. There should be no way for you to plug in a device and it automatically install third-party software. Maybe not even first-party software. I understand if it needs drivers, but if it needs drivers, I'm going to install the drivers myself. I'm not having something I plug in automatically install stuff on my behalf.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean,
it has to be McAfee. It has to be McAfee.
Yeah. I mean, hey, good news. If you're a Mac user, you don't gotta deal with it because it doesn't happen on Mac, apparently. So, I don't know, maybe
it wouldn't happen on Linux either.
Macs and Linux PCs might be a bit more secure, I think we already knew that. Knew that, though. And our last few topics, there's this website called
Kalshi.
Yeah, whatever that is. Basically, you can sort of gamble on world events, and apparently they're getting sued for that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's placing bets on different things, random things. There was a bet that Trump was going to say cryptocurrency in his speech, and if you were right, you got everyone's prize pool money, which is gambling. But they said, oh no, it's not gambling, it's a special betting market, which is online only, and it doesn't do this, gambling. It doesn't do that. I'm but it's gambling.
It's gambling.
That's what gambling is.
Yeah.
So they're being sued right now for gambling, for illegal gambling. There's no regulations on it right now because they said they weren't gambling, but they are gambling. So they're being sued right now by, I believe it's New York suing. It's New York.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And to end off the episode, there are a bunch of record label companies trying to block AI content, AI music on their platforms. This is really good. I don't know. I'm not exactly sure the details of this. You know more of that, but overall, it sounds like a good thing to me.
Yeah. So what they're trying to do is if there's AI generated music, they're proposing that you have to require to label it as AI, and you're going to get less funding, and you're not going to be recommended to as much people. They're basically like, hey, we're going to limit all AI or even block it unless if you meet certain qualifications. It can't be, quote, AI slop. If it's AI slop, it won't be served on the platform at all. But if it's tastefully made AI, which I don't understand what tastefully made AI is, but if it's tastefully made AI, it is allowed with certain requirements. It requires that to be labeled as AI. It has to be obvious it's AI. It has to this, and this, which is great because these record labels were the people who were allowing it for a long time. That's why Spotify really didn't do anything about it because the record labels allowed it, and Spotify doesn't really have. They had control, but didn't have complete control like the record labels do.
So yeah, overall, that's really good. And yeah, that is all the topics we have today. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to go check out some of our other videos. And of course, we have different clips and everything. So, anyways, everyone, thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next episode.